In the dark world of the Underworld franchise, immortality is a coveted trait, but also possessed by various creatures that inhabit it. From ancient vampires to formidable werewolves, each species of the Underworld franchise boasts unique abilities and characteristics that distinguish them and assist in the eternal struggle for dominance. In this video, we will explore the various immortal species introduced in the Underworld universe, investigating their origins, powers, and roles in the ongoing conflict that permeates their identities as a race. The first race we will explore is the werewolves. Werewolves are formidable creatures born from the bloodline of William Corvinus. These primordial werewolves are markedly different from the Lycans that evolved later, embodying the essence of unrestrained savagery without the ability to revert to their human form, making them a relentless force of nature. Their origins lie in the transformation of humans infected by William or his direct victims, leading to offspring characterized by the loss of human consciousness and the inability to assume human form even after death, although later generations slightly mitigated this limitation by regaining human form shortly after death. This ancient race exhibits superior physical attributes that include immortality, exceptional strength, agility, and enhanced sensory abilities that even surpass those of their vampire adversaries. Their inherent endurance and regenerative capabilities are formidable, but they show a pronounced vulnerability to silver, which can fatally compromise their regenerative processes if it penetrates vital organs. The portrayal of werewolves changes throughout the history of Underworld, with William Corvinus standing out as a unique entity. Unlike his offspring, William's lycanthropy, triggered by the bite of a rabid wolf, is free of any hint of humanity or control, locking him in a perpetual state of blind ferocity. His physical appearance, marked by white fur and distinct lupin features, underscores his primordial nature and immense power, differentiating him as a singular figure within the hierarchy of the werewolves. The infection line of these creatures is categorized into generations, with the potency and control over their transformation diluting over time. The original werewolves, directly infected by William, are depicted as less humanized and more savage than the Lycans, lacking the ability to transform at will of the latter. It is not until the appearance of Lyan that a glimmer of control and rationality begins to manifest within their ranks, suggesting a gradual evolution towards the more civilized Lycan race, capable of strategic thinking and cooperation. The second race in this list is the Lycans. Lycans are a formidable race whose origins date back to the 13th century from the bloodline of William Corvinus. Unlike their ancestral counterparts, Lycans maintain their human consciousness in a transformed state, allowing them to revert this change and return to their original form, a significant evolution from the first generation of werewolves. Rooted in a bitter history of subjugation by the vampires, Lycans have been involved in a relentless conflict for a long time, known as the Eternal War, fueled by a rebellion against their oppressors in the 15th century that almost led to the extinction of the vampire species. The conflict, often misunderstood as a noble crusade by the vampires against the supposedly savage Lycans, was actually ignited by personal vendettas, notably by Victor against Lyan, a prominent Lycan figure for his relationship with Victor's daughter, Sonia. The enmity between these two immortal species has seen periods of intense warfare, culminating in a temporary ceasefire following the death of Marius, the last Lycan leader. Biologically, Lycans are immortal beings with a carnivorous diet, capable of consuming human, vampire, and animal flesh. They possess a high body temperature and, unlike their cinematic representation, are colorblind in their Lycan form in the novelizations, with a tendency to drool like rabid animals. A significant vulnerability to silver is a consistent characteristic throughout the franchise, affecting them even at the sight of its gleam. The eyes of Lycans reflect their transformation, changing to deep blue, solid cobalt, wild yellow, or solid black, depending on their state or possibly due to external interventions like the antidote for Managen. Age and nutrition significantly influence their physical prowess, with well-nourished Lycans recovering from injuries at a remarkable speed. The powers and abilities of Lycans include increased strength, speed, endurance, and agility, manifesting even in their human form. Lucian's capabilities, for example, demonstrate these enhanced traits through extraordinary feats, such as surviving direct hits from cars and even silver bullets. Their sharp senses surpass those of wolves, allowing them to detect nearby vampires. Lycans also show the ability to transform at will, with the influence of the moon affecting only those who have not mastered their transformation. This mastery over their form allows for rapid and painless changes, contrasting with the agonizing transformations of those still struggling with their nature. Vampires. Vampires are depicted as a distinct subspecies of immortals, distinguished not by supernatural folklore, but by a symbiotic virus that grants them biological immortality, enhanced physical capabilities, and rapid healing. This transformation comes at the cost of a fatal weakness to ultraviolet light and a compulsive need to consume blood, with a preference for human blood. Central to the essence of the series, vampires navigate a complex existence that oscillates between their enhanced physical abilities and their inherent vulnerabilities. These vampires are different from traditional mythological ones because their origins are based on biology and not magic, the only similarity being their need to drink blood to survive. This need does not equate to a risk of death from starvation. Rather, deprivation leads to gradual weakening. Their ability to blend in with humans, except in moments of great emotional stress that trigger visible transformations, marks them as formidable entities capable of hiding their true nature. Vampires in this universe can reproduce both with their own kind and with others, including lycans and hybrids, suggesting a genetic versatility that further complicates their place in the natural order. Transformation into a vampire usually follows a bite, though the series hints at the possibility of transformation through a blood transfusion, broadening the means to expand their numbers. Their powers encompass a wide range of enhanced physical attributes, from superhuman strength and agility to accelerated healing and sharpened senses. These abilities grow stronger with age, positioning elders at the apex of vampire strength. Unique abilities such as acquiring memory through the ingestion of blood add layers to their already complex biology. However, these powers have limitations, including the possibility of permanent damage from severe trauma or exposure to sunlight, demonstrating that their immortality only covers longevity. The weaknesses of vampires extend beyond their photosensitivity to include specific vulnerabilities to substances like mandrake, which can be lethal or incapacitating depending on the individual's strength. Additionally, the process of transforming from human to vampire carries a significant risk, with a notable percentage of humans unable to survive the virus infection. Dominant vampire hybrid. Dominant vampire hybrids stand out for their distinctive physical features that reflect more their chiropteran lineage than their Lycan counterparts. These hybrids exhibit unique traits such as bat-like ears seamlessly fused to the skull, a nose reminiscent of bats, a complete absence of hair, and a skin tone with a bluish hue, along with the development of sliced and retractable wings, showcasing their aerial adaptability. Like their vampire progenitors, these hybrids rely exclusively on blood for nourishment, eschewing any form of solid food. Michael Corvinus, both as the original vampire and a formidable elder within his kind, represents the only known instance of a Vampire-Lycan hybrid. His lineage and strength distinguish him from his peers and potentially indicate a unique manifestation of hybrid abilities, not necessarily representative of all dominant vampire hybrids. Michael Corvinus, coming from the Corvinus clan and therefore the progenitor of the vampire race, assumes a crucial role in the saga, particularly highlighted in Underworld Evolution, as a main antagonist alongside his twin William. His distinguished lineage as the son of Alexander Corvinus grounds his elevated status and formidable capabilities within the vampire community. As an archetype of his species, Marcus's transition into a hybrid only amplifies his inherent capabilities, allowing him a versatile transformation into a bat-like humanoid entity. This transformation shows an advanced level of control, enabling selective transformation of his anatomy, such as hands into claws or the deployment of wings, while retaining the ability to communicate. His combat prowess is further evidenced by his skill with medieval weapons, indicative of his centuries-spanning existence. Marcus's superhuman attributes extend beyond mere strength, which already surpasses that of distinguished vampires like Victor and Amelia, to include endurance, speed, and healing. His hybrid vigor allows him to perform feats of notable strength, such as knocking down helicopters or breaking through very hard material barriers, while his durability is shown through his resistance against severe injuries and his rapid recovery capabilities. However, his resilience has its limits, as certain forms of catastrophic damage prove to be lethal. Moreover, Marcus's sensory capabilities are significantly enhanced, allowing him a deep connection with his twin and the perception of William's proximity. The blood selection ability grants Marcus the skill to extract memories through the consumption of blood, a skill he wields with exceptional adeptness, adapting quickly to modern technology and planning strategically against his adversaries. Dominant Lycan hybrid. These hybrids represent a formidable and rare evolution, blending the imposing characteristics of Lycans with those of vampires, leaning more towards their Lycan heritage in appearance and instinct. These hybrids are primarily characterized by black eyes, slightly elongated faces, and somewhat extended rib cages, embodying the fearsome vision of a Lycan with little to no hair and dark bluish skin. Their physical form is complemented with claws, teeth, and the archetypal Lycan posture and roar, signaling their dominant lineage. Michael Corvin emerges as the pioneering figure of this Lycan vampire hybrid, immune to the vulnerabilities traditionally associated with both species, including silver and sunlight. Initially, Michael's journey from an ordinary American intern doctor to a key figure in the supernatural conflict is marked by his unique genetic heritage as a descendant of Alexander Corvinus, harboring the latent Corvinus strain. His transformation into a hybrid reveals a more primal side, with a combat style defined by sheer ferocity. This shift towards a feral mentality, however, does not erase his intelligence, as demonstrated by strategic actions during combat, suggesting a complex blend of predatory instinct and cognitive preservation. Throughout the series, Michael exhibits the ability to partially transform, manipulating his anatomy to enhance his combat effectiveness. This includes altering his eyes, teeth, and fingers into lethal weapons, demonstrating his hybrid versatility. His dietary habits align with those of vampires, needing blood to sustain himself, with his body rejecting the consumption of solid foods. Michael's powers span a spectrum of superhuman capabilities, regardless of his form. His endurance and strength allow him to withstand and inflict significant damage, even against formidable opponents like the Immortal Elders and the first werewolf, William. His healing factor shows remarkable regenerative abilities, fundamental for his survival and resilience in combat. Enhanced speed and agility further distinguish him, allowing movements beyond the capabilities of pure vampires or Lycans, while sensory synchronization with his daughter, Eve, underlines a unique psychic connection, enhancing their bond and situational awareness. Despite these strengths, Michael's immortality, similar to that of Vampires and Lycans, remains unexplored due to his narrative arc culminating in a battle against Marius, suggesting a tragic end to his story. Naturally born hybrid. Naturally born hybrids emerge as beings of extraordinary power and potential, derived from the fusion of vampire and Lycan bloodlines, and most notably from the Corvinus line. Although the tragic story of Lucian and Sonia hints at the possibility of a hybrid progeny, it is through Eve, the daughter of Michael Corvin and Selene, that the true potential of a naturally born hybrid is realized. Eve, representing the culmination of vampire and Lycan traits, enhanced by the Corvinus strain, stands as a beacon of power within the Underworld saga. Her existence is not only a testament to the mixing of species, but also to the evolution of the Corvinus legacy. Born in captivity, Eve's life begins under the shadow of Antigen's experiments, her early years marked by isolation and deception about the fate of her parents. Despite these challenges, Eve's innate connection with Selene, a psychic bond that belies their physical separation, serves as a lifeline, fostering a sense of identity and belonging amid the sterile confines of a laboratory. The extent of Eve's powers, though partially explored, points to a formidable arsenal inherent to her hybrid physiology. Even in her youth and without formal combat training, Eve displays savage ferocity and instinctive prowess in battle, her strength seeming amplified by emotional triggers like anger or fear. This instinctive combativeness, along with her extraordinary resilience, allows her to withstand and recover from injuries that would incapacitate others, showing a superhuman endurance that is notable even among immortals. Her healing capabilities further underscore the exceptional nature of her biology. Despite a period of extended blood deprivation, once she resumes consumption, her body's response is instantaneous, healing wounds with astonishing speed and efficacy. This trait, emblematic of her hybrid status, is indicative of a healing factor that surpasses that of both progenitor species. Eve's strength is not merely a function of her hybrid heritage, but a potent force in its own right. Capable of feats of raw power that belie her age and experience, she confronts and overcomes adversaries with a brutality that is both impressive and terrifying. Her ability to dispatch enhanced Lycans and other formidable enemies places her in a league of her own, suggesting a potential that even Selene recognizes as unparalleled. Accompanying her physical prowess are razor-sharp claws, superhuman senses, speed, agility, and the unique ability to scale walls with ease, attributes that enhance her natural combativeness and provide a diverse arsenal of tools for defense and attack. Moreover, Eve's immunity to the traditional vulnerabilities of vampires and Lycans marks her as a truly singular entity within the Underworld universe. Perhaps one of her most intriguing abilities is sensory synchronization, a psychic link that allows her to share perceptions with her parents, providing a deep sense of connection and understanding between them. Evolved Lycan. Throughout the films, a revolutionary evolution within the Lycan species is catalyzed by the innovative, albeit ethically questionable, experiments of Jacob Lyan. By leveraging the Corvinus strain present in Eve's blood, Lyan ushers in a new chapter in Lycan evolution, transforming his son into the first enhanced Lycan. This experiment marks not only a significant leap in their biological capabilities, but also sets the stage for a new era in their race's hierarchy. Lyan's ambition does not stop with his son. He begins the process of self-transformation by injecting himself with the same strain, although his journey is cut short before he can fully realize the transformation's potential. The enhanced Lycans introduced through these experiments represent a monumental shift in the species' physical and biological constitution. They surpass their predecessors in size and strength, including notable figures like William and Lucian. This new breed of Lycans exhibits a remarkable resistance to silver. Silver weapons, once lethal, now inflict minimal damage, as these Lycans possess the ability to heal almost instantly from such wounds. The evolution within the Lycan ranks continues with Marius, a leader who seeks to enhance his strength through scientific means. By integrating Michael Corvin's blood into his system, Marius achieves a formidable enhancement, though his transformation relies on periodic infusions. Despite his increased powers, Marius's ambitions are thwarted by Selene, whose own evolution into a more powerful being, courtesy of the Nordic coven, allows her to confront and defeat him. Evolved vampires. As with the Lycans, a crucial evolution occurs among the vampire bloodline, marking a significant change in their hierarchy and capabilities. This transformation is initiated by Selene, a formidable vampire warrior who, in a desperate attempt to defeat Marcus and William, consumes the blood of Alexander Corvinus. This act grants her unprecedented power, making her the first vampire of the enhanced Vampire-Corvinus strain. This new strength is not just for Selene's advantage. It becomes a beacon of evolution for the vampire species. Selene's transformation is marked by her decision to share this potent legacy. In a critical moment for David, a young vampire, Selene offers her blood, effectively rescuing him from the brink of death and ushering him into the era of enhanced vampires. This generation signifies not just a continuation of the vampire bloodline, but an evolution with Selene's Corvinus-infused blood as its cornerstone. This evolution extends further when Semira, driven by ambitions of dominance and power, forcibly takes Selene's blood. Her actions are driven by the desire to overthrow the leadership of the Eastern Coven and assert herself as the supreme authority. surpassing even Cassius in power. The emergence of the enhanced Vampire Corvinus strain signifies a monumental shift in vampire capabilities. These vampires stand as titans among their kind, possessing physical feats that eclipse the elders and their predecessors. A notable feature of this generation is their total immunity to sunlight, a revolutionary adaptation that frees them from the nocturnal restrictions that have historically chained vampire existence. While retaining the core attributes of their ancestors, these enhanced vampires exhibit generally amplified abilities. The power to transform others into their kind, whether turning existing vampires into enhanced vampires through their blood or potentially converting humans, shows their pivotal role in the evolutionary hierarchy of their species. Immortals. Immortals are the last beings on this list, portrayed as individuals with superhuman qualities, carriers of a rare virus that grants them the gift of eternal life. However, this virus does not make them invulnerable. They can still succumb to death if wounded beyond their enhanced capacity to heal. The term immortal is often used to encompass both vampires and lycans due to their shared origin, though in a strict sense, a true immortal lacks any animalistic genetic traits seen in these other beings. True immortals, as defined in this universe, include Alexander Corvinus and his two sons, Marcus and William, from whom the vampire and lycan species respectively originated. Alexander Corvinus, unique among his kind, spent much of his 17 centuries living discreetly among humans, employing them in various tasks, but most fundamentally to keep the eternal war secret from humans through his group known as the Cleaners. Alexander's immortality was derived from a genetic anomaly known as the Corvinus strain, a mutation triggered by a plague he survived in the early 5th century. This mutation not only transformed Alexander into the first immortal, but also became the progenitor strain from which all subsequent immortals descended. His sons, Marcus and William, underwent additional mutations to become the first vampire and the first werewolf, following encounters with a bat and a wolf, respectively. Legend suggests that Alexander's third son was mortal, indicating that a latent form of the virus might persist in the Corvinus line, a theory somewhat supported by the narrative surrounding Michael Corvin. The extent of abilities possessed by true immortals remains largely unexplored, with little knowledge about their powers or potential to infect humans as their descendants can. However, Selene's enhancement after consuming Alexander's blood hints at the potency of his strain. Alexander Corvinus is characterized by his ancient wisdom, strategic cunning, and deep knowledge of the Vampire-Lycan conflict, traits likely perfected over millennia. His abilities extended to superhuman senses, evidenced by his detection of radio frequencies from afar. Despite his potential to overpower his sons, Alexander chose not to confront Marcus, revealing the depth of his character and the complexities of his familial ties. His death, following a severe wound, raises questions about the limits of immortals' healing capabilities, though his resilience against severe injuries suggests a notable, if not absolute, recovery capacity. Hey, don't go just yet. If you enjoyed my video, I'd love to recommend another one for you to watch.